call the meeting to order. Regular council meeting on October 20th, 2021. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda minutes?
I make the motion that council adopt the agenda as presented.
Can I have a second?
With errors and omissions.
So,
That's okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Great.
Oh, all in favor?
Yeah, all in favor? All right, on to item number 3. Adoption of minutes from the October 6th council meeting minutes.
Second.
Got a motion to accept those? Are we got it seconded? Okay, all in favor? Alrighty, item number 4, introduction of late items.
There is none.
All right, none, moving on. Public hearings, nil. Delegations, nil. Item 7, unfinished business and business arising from the minutes.
The council received the 2 draft media release for consideration and advise administration which one they would like to use or provide specific alternate wording for the release.
All right, discussion.
My thinking is we should just rescind this motion and not do a media release. The incident happened, the media release to the media was September 27th. It is now the 20th. I think we have voiced our concerns at council meeting, and I think it's past, it's what we were trying to do. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with that. So do we need to make a motion to rescind that?
So Barbara needs a motion.
Yeah, so
You need a
motion, so we need a
seconder?
seconder to rescind that. And Councillor Hebert seconds that motion. All in favor? None opposed. Moving on to item number 8, new business.
The council approved the Christmas holiday office closure for December 24th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 2021 holiday season.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hebert. All in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Taxes, if we are closed on the 30th, 31st, is there going to be a contact person, like the same channel?
Same policy as every year. They have option to put it in the mailbox, and then one of the staff is in on the 31st so they can process it. And then they can still do it online. Any other?
So the staff member does come in on the 31st?
We have one staff member that comes in, yes. Actually,
Okay.
2 staff members.
I'm just discussing that so it's transparent.
Okay.
All right, so motion on the table. So yeah, all in favor of following the recommendation? Okay, none opposed. Carrying on to item 8.2 recommendation.
The council received policy 1.16 social media for review and discussion.
Motion for that? Second.
Do we have a second? Second, okay. Discussion?
Yes, so in reviewing the social media policies versus the council code of conduct, I noticed a very large difference in the wording. And so currently in the policies, our employees are held at a higher standard of social media policies than our council members are on paper. I know people often have the opinion that it sort of should go without saying, but I do find that, having things sort of written out in black and white does make a difference, and that is something that I definitely notice. Our employees are held to the standard of their behavior or performance on social media, any groups that they're part of, in the ways in which they represent social media, the village on social media such as Facebook or Twitter or blah, blah. And there's nothing really in writing for council members. And so I was wanting to review that and put forward the motion of us adopting the same policies that our staff are being held to. And so just so that we as counselors are also being blanketed under the same social media standard that our staff are. Seeing as counselors, I feel that, we should be leaders within our community, and we should be held to a higher standard than our staff. And so that's how I was bringing that forward.
So you're making the motion that we bring our code of conduct to equivalent to staff?
For social media coverage, yeah, and as well as the way that we represent the village, which is also sort of covered in those policies as well.
I'm kind of opposed to that.
Okay.
One, we have different facts. What I'm thinking of, employees are paid,
Mm-hmm.
counselors are, when their ethics and that, they make an oath to perform their duties and not allow private interest and influence my conduct in public matters, etc., etc. They make an oath. We have no recourse. I would say, if we passed it, I would consider passing it back to staff to look at, and for them not to take their time and do it thoroughly, to see what other municipalities have and other issues, because it's comparing apples and oranges. And yes, our staff have to be accountable, but and council has to be accountable. But I think we're all sitting here that we step up and hope we maintain integrity, morality, and words on a piece of paper really were voted in. So I don't know what recourse or how we can change it. Maybe there is something out there, I don't know, but that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Yeah, well, even looking into what other municipalities have done as well may also be another good idea. I know that social media policies are things that are starting to be coming in to other municipalities' codes and stuff, and so I would also agree with that, with looking into what other municipalities have done.
Councillor Heath, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
So if I understand correctly, there's a motion on the floor to refer this back to staff for further discussion.
No, there isn't. The motion was to,
Right now, the motion, no, there is no motion.
No.
There hasn't been a motion yet.
Oh,
Just a
Well,
discussion.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
still in discussion.
I thought she had the motion that we bring
bring it
the
forward.
code of conduct up to the same standards as the staff. I thought that was the motion that she was putting forward.
I didn't hear the word motion. Did you hear the word motion?
CAO?
Did you hear that?
Not
No,
that I,
it was in the discussion phase.
Yeah, we were just sort of talking about it, and so I was saying about us adopting that same wording as well as holding counselors up to the same policies that our staff are. I do see where you're coming from with the fact that like it should go without saying, or we do sign this oath. But social media is becoming something that is being used on an all the time basis, and there are more and more and more social media apps, and it is. Marlene, do you have something to add? Yeah.
Oh,
No.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Reach?
No, it's fine.
Councillor Heath?
And knowing that people go on social media and the general public are aware, people who do participate in these things like Twitter and whatever else, it is obvious what kind of participation you partake in on those sites. And it gives the public more of an awareness of who they're voting for. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and so, well, in saying that, with the public going out and being on social media as well as elected officials, I feel that that gray area is a gray area, because you're assuming that everybody's going to interpret that the same way, right? And so even in the oath, I just find that the wording connected to social media and social media representation isn't strong enough. And so that's where my point is coming forward. We can say, well, there's nothing that you can do, you're right, technically you cannot take these policies and remove somebody with them. But they are blanketed very black and white. And I feel that even having that wording in there and having people agree to those policies, those codes of conduct, does help set a precedent. So even though, okay, technically we cannot legislatively pull somebody down, I just don't see I don't see the harm in having them adopted.
Councillor Schmidt?
I would like to make the motion that we send this policy back to our staff to do some research on how we can improve our code of conduct, what other municipalities are doing, and come back to us with some options, and we can discuss it at that time.
So we got a motion on the floor to send this back to staff. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Moving on to item 8.3, recommendation.
Yeah, sorry, that was the code of conduct that was covered under the policies which we just spoken about, so we can move on.
They're two separate items, so I need a motion on the second item as well.
That council receive policy 8.1, council code of conduct for review and discussion.
Second,
All right. Discussion.
I make the motion that we pass that back to our staff to have it looked at and see what's out there. Let's not reinvent the wheel.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Councillor Hubert seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Correspondence, item number 9 on our agenda tonight. 9.1 recommendation.
That council receives the reports from the animal control bylaw officer's information.
Second?
Seconded. And all in favor? Opposed? Okay. 9.2 recommendation. Oh, sorry, okay, Sandy.
Councillor Waddell, you can go through and just say, does anyone see anything for discussion?
Okay.
If you want, and if nobody says anything, then you can say you can receive it all for information on
Oh, great. All
Read
right.
each one.
Alrighty, so does anybody else see anything in the section 9 that we need to discuss tonight? Councillor Smith?
I'd like to draw attention to 9.6, that the city of Langley, financial assistance for COVID-19 related budget shortfalls information. I would like to send a letter of support and a letter to Premier Horgan that we don't know where the end game is, that they should financial assistance for COVID-19 related budget shortfalls.
Do we have a seconder on that?
Second.
Councillor Hubert? All right, all in favor? Or discussion, I guess, sir? Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay. This brings us to item, okay, so that's item 9.7. Nothing on that one, okay. So moving on to item 10, resolutions, nil. So moving on to item 11, bylaws, recommendation.
The council give the fourth reading and adopt tax exemption bylaw number 1032, 2021.
Councillor Hubert seconds that. All right. So
Any discussion and then vote?
any discussion on that?
All those in favor?
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
You can tell me to shut up.
That's okay. I appreciate the help. It's part of working together, right? Alrighty, so that covers off 11. Brings us to 12. Administration reports. CAO report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I haven't been away from the office here for a few days. Not a lot to report, other than I would just like to express my thanks to the member of council for attending the governance training session last night. I got a lot out of that. personally, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to participate in that call. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as well. Like I mentioned, I consider Ms. Lawrenson to be a tremendous resource, and I really value the insight and information she shares with us. So. Yeah.
Councillor Smith?
I would like you to give us a report on the COVID in the village office for publicly in our meeting for residents and for council to be brought up to date what's happening in the village office.
Okay. Just a little bit of a sensitive matter there, Councillor Smith, so I got to be careful not to,
Yes.
to violate anyone's medical privacy, but as it stands right now, yes, several staff members in the village have tested positive for COVID-19, myself included, and a couple of people that are still awaiting test results. There is an individual who was previously positive that's returned to work now. My quarantine period ends on Friday night here coming up, Friday the 22nd, so I should be back in the office as of Monday, barring any unforeseen items. The corporate officer is holding the fort down right now, so I want to thank her for that. We are sort of doing a sort of modified employee check-in process to make sure that she's safe and not under any issues working alone. But yeah, we are trying to keep the office open as best we can in the face of multiple staff members that look like they have COVID here. So.
Sorry, is there any delays in just normal housekeeping stuff that our residents should be, like, there's nothing pending or nothing being held up, or, I understand that, and that's all I'm getting a reassurance from you, that we maintain.
Oh, I see the corporate officer hand up there.
So just to let everybody know, people can still pay their utility bills. I can process those. I'm answering the phones. I'm answering calls as best I can. Where I need to take a message, I'm taking a message. A very detailed message for everyone when they get back. But to date, today was day 3 and it's actually very quiet.
Business as usual.
Business as usual. Only had 2 people a day come in so far, and 2 phone calls a day.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, I just
We're all-
wanted to be transparent.
yeah, we're
Okay.
running all good.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the administration and staff for all their work during this, and you guys at home dealing with COVID issues and still keeping the fort down. So, thank you guys very much for your work and
Yeah.
answering our emails and all our inquiries as well. All right, so we're gonna move on to 12.2 unless you've got anything else to add for action items. All right, so anything for action items that we need to discuss tonight? Any change in those?
I don't see where there'd be a change.
All right.
We just coast along.
Cool. Alright, no objections. We're gonna move on to 12.13, capital and special projects. Nothing for that one? Oh, Councillor Smith?
Yes, I'd like to know where our tourism video is. I see him advertising viewing of it.
You mean the movie?
And, yeah, and I was wondering if we could get council, our staff, CAO, to look at where it is, or when we can get a viewing of our tourism video.
So with the provincial health orders right now, we cannot have public in the building. I've verified that. We can have, all of our council meetings can go on as planned, provided everyone's got masks on. I have not confirmed about the vaccinations yet. And to have someone come in and present right now won't be possible until
Could
after
you
November.
present it by Zoom or anything?
I can reach out to Rob and see what we can
Where
do.
it is, yes,
Yes.
yeah. Good.
Alright, and 12.14 council calendar. Anything to update on that? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to item 13, reports. Councillor Hebert, do you have a report for us tonight?
Oh, I attended the governance meeting last night. Very interesting. Enjoyed it immensely. Enjoyed being with you all, even though you couldn't see me. I tried my best, and that's it.
Alrighty, thank you. Councillor Smith, do you have a report for us tonight?
Just a verbal report. I did attend the governance meeting last night, and I thought it was very informative. But I would like to bring up a matter that has been brought up to the regional district. The NDP government is looking at restructuring electoral areas, and they are looking at combining North and South Peace and only having one representative down south. We need municipalities to reach out and oppose this and get people to grassroots to oppose this. Like, we have the biggest area, representatives in Vancouver can walk across their area in 6 blocks. We have our area, if it was combined, they can't drive for 12 hours and get what. We don't have train service, we don't have transit, we don't have the medical opportunities for our residents of southern BC. We need 2 representatives down there for this large resource area. So I just want to put it out there that we should be thinking about this, because they may go ahead without, just push it through. So we need to start talking about it, getting our Chamber of Commerce on board with it. We need to get grassroots organizations, you know what I mean? Because our candidates, it's political, so they have to stay away. But as a municipality, we go to our representatives. And if we only have one, and all these communities from Mackenzie to Fort Nelson would be the area, I think we've got to really get loud and proud and say, no, we need 2 reps. We need to maintain our 2 reps.
So is the regional district asking for a letter of support or anything like that at this point in time?
No, not at this time. We have had a presentation of this brought to us, so we haven't discussed it as regional district as yet. But when it does, I will. Now, do you give me your support that I should speak up, that we should be loud and proud and say that we need to step up and say we need 2 reps?
So just a point, where do we need to have a motion to support that?
No, not from the regional. I just get your ideas.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying. We need to keep our representatives around here. I definitely find that from Prince George past, you know, the people down there may have good intentions, but they're unable to represent us properly because they don't live up here, and they don't come up here unless it's warm or summer.
Yes.
And our hardest months are between October and March, and they're not here for those very difficult times. We are.
Yeah, this is a theme you actually see quite regularly amongst quite a few different organizations, as the South doesn't quite understand
Yeah.
the North and, you know, our lack of representation, right? And it's one of those things, we've got 80% of the land mass, or 60% of the land mass with 10% of the people versus
Yeah, that is
10% of the land
definitely.
mass with 80% of the people, right? So no, it's definitely something. So
Yeah, that's definitely something I would be interested in. Yeah, like
Talk to
like,
whoever you
I'm going to be talking to a ton of people. Yeah, help me out, or-
that's how grassroots gets started.
Yeah, for sure. But he was
Thanks for
up
the
to the date on that. Let's see.
and yeah, just as you get more information on that, we ask that you bring it back to us.
Yes.
All right, Councillor Beach, do you have a report for us tonight?
Yeah, I attended the governance meeting last night. Again, it was very informative. I'm new to this whole thing, so I definitely got a it was nice to sit down and sort of talk to everybody and not have it be at like a formal council meeting, which we don't get to actually have. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and just to kind of hear, you know, where everybody's coming from and what they want for the village was really, really good too, just to kind of get a peek behind the curtain almost. I haven't met with any of my portfolios yet, but I do have a library board meeting tomorrow evening. So that's tomorrow night at 7, so I'll be covering that. So the next meeting I'll be able to talk a bit more on that as well. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, as for my report, I also attended the governance training last night, along with the rest of council. Also, this last 2 weeks since our last council meeting, I attended the tourism AGM, where they have focus on recovering from COVID and moving forward, and seeing, you know, how we can get more people into the communities and into our area, and also updating their information, and then moving forward with resiliency with regards to tourism. Also had a quite productive conversation this afternoon with the staff sergeant for the RCMP, and just touching base on where different projects and that kind of stuff are, what'll come up in a future meeting with the current reports and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a really good meeting with him. Also reached out to the fire chief and also to the courtesy matters as well, just to touch base, you know, let everyone know kind of who I am and what profiles we're taking care of. So yeah, and yeah, that's kind of it for my report for tonight. Mary McKetty's not present, so there is no report from her. Now we move to item 14. I need a motion that we...
The council moved to in camera as per section 91, G, and C of the community charter. G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. C, labor relations or other employee relations. And C, labor relations or other employee relations.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
In favor? All right. We will
Okay.
move to in camera.